my friends. Happy Friday. Welcome to episode 255 of Why Did I Buy This? I started this series to help crafters find unique ways to use craft supplies, and I love sharing what I'm working on in my studio. My name is Lindsay. I am from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I love crafting, and I have been with Stampin' Up! For 23 years. I know it's hard to believe. And so this is just a great way to kind of connect with fellow crafters and share what I'm working on. And I know I'm a few minutes early, but today is a super, super exciting day, so I just couldn't wait anymore. I was like, I'm ready, let's get going. As you're tuning in, please say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're watching the replay, you can let us know that too. I try to post the replays on YouTube for you. If you're interested, you can check out my YouTube channel. Hi Sharon, happy pool party Friday. We're using it today. She's making an appearance. Hi Connie, welcome. Yeah, so funny. Let's see what's going on. What are you guys working on in your studios right now? Have you been crafting? Have you been gardening? Have you been painting? What are you doing? Let me know in the comments. Of course, commenting is such a wonderful way to get to interact, but I will ask you to always please keep your comments positive and joyful. There's so much going on in the world that we just don't need our crafting space to have negativity. So I'm gonna just remind you that this is a positive place, yeah? If you have comments, concerns about any products, please reach out to Stampin' Up! Directly. Okay, what else can we talk about? I am seeing the sun is shining a little bit. We've been having such weird weather here in Edmonton. It's been quite rainy this summer. And then we'll have downpours and then we'll have some sun. And it's a little on the cooler side. Like I have not pulled out the shorts very often. I don't know what you guys are experiencing, but I know my daughter lives in Ontario and it is hot there. But it just depends on where you are in the world, right? Let me know, where are you? Okay. So a couple of things, we have a brand new product of the month. So as a reminder, in Canada, your product of the month is unlocked with a $7, no, that's not right, $100 order. And then you get to add it to your cart for $7. That's so affordable. This month we have a really beautiful two-step stamp. I'll just quickly show you a picture of it. I haven't received mine yet. It's coming. So here you can see it's got these beautiful roses, two-step stamp, sort of hyper photorealistic. Really takes the work out of things. The Make and Jingle event is coming up on November 28th, and this is a co-hosted event with my pals Kelly and Lauren. So if you're local, this is a great way to get to spend some time crafting. We have just a couple of spots left. If you are elsewhere in Canada and still would like to participate, we do this event to go. So we will send you a packet with all of the things and the videos, and it's just like getting to be there without the hugs. We'll send you paper hugs. And finally, I have if you're very local, if you're here in Edmonton, I do have a class tomorrow. I have one spot left. We're doing cookies and Christmas cards. I know, crazy to be making Christmas cards, but our online exclusives went live this month, and so we have a couple of holiday things. Most of them will be coming out in September with our new catalog, but we just have like a couple of really amazing suites and bundles. So it's really fun to get to play with those. So tomorrow afternoon, 1 to 3, I have one spot left if you want to come. Deborah says high 90s past 2 weeks in South Carolina. That sounds hot. And it's humid where you live, right? Where we live, we generally don't have a lot of humidity. So like when it's a temperature, it's like a true temperature. I'd never even heard of the humidex until my daughter moved to Ontario. We have wind chill here, like where it's this cold, but when the wind blows, it's way colder. So the humidity makes it so much hotter, and that's what a humidex is apparently. It can be like 10 degrees Celsius hotter based on the humidex, which is kind of gross, right? Wild. Well, Deborah, I hope you're staying cool. I hope you have air conditioning. That will make things a little easier for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about what's new and exciting. Yes, Steph, yay, cookies and cards. I made cookies last night, FYI. They are delicious. I may have had to sample them, so yum. Okay, so what's hot and new? So Stampin' Up! Has come out with a brand new system. This is not new to the marketplace, but it is new to Stampin' Up! And I am absolutely thrilled. In fact, it's kind of become a bit of a problem for me because I should be doing other things and all I want to do is play with the new system. So this is a hot foil system. This system is amazing at adding elegant touches to your cards, and you're going to see today it is just mind-blowing the way it works. So I'm going to walk you through the pieces of it and how it's going to work, and then I'm going to show you a couple of projects made with it. All right, so let's do the awkward transition here so you can see my hands, and we will get going. Okay, here you can see the new system is on my counter here. Let's see, is that, yeah, that should work out pretty well. All right, I'm going to zoom out just a smidge. There we go. All right, so the hot foil system, I'm going to plug it in while we're talking here and let it warm up. So your plug is going to come in two pieces depending on where in the world you live. So here in Canada, we have this little piece here that adds on it. It's got like the flat hot piece. So we're going to heat it up. Now it comes with this little silicone mat to rest on, but truly the white part doesn't get hot. It's just the gray part. And you'll see that the white light is on and the red light is flashing. So that shows us that it's heating up. Also, we have this little silicone mat. This is going to be where your dies get slidden across. And included in your bundle, you get this little handle, and it's easy then to pick things up and slide it. You'll see. You also have the plates. This is how it's going to be pressed through your die cutting machine to be able to get the foil. So while we're waiting for this to heat up, let me show you the bundles. I don't have all of them, but I have almost all of them. So there's a couple that are just standalone. The first one is this, and you'll notice on Stampin' Up's packaging, you have sort of a gold look to the dies that are the hot foiling dies. They're different kind of dies than what you're used to with a die cutting machine. They don't have a cutting ability, just the pressing ability. So I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. But we've got the garden silhouette. We have the Swiss Dots hot foil dies. You can see it looks like this. Highly recommend this one because of the ability to use your foil to the most, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. Now we start getting into ones that include both hot foiling dies and the regular cutting dies. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So let's open up this alphabet suite. So you can see here, the more matte ones are the hot foil dies. These are ones that are going to press the foil into your paper. And then this is so brilliant. These are all sized to lay over top of the foil and individually cut out each letter. And I'm going to show you a hot tip with that when we get to our projects. Now we start working into our bundles. So our bundles, as you know, when you buy a bundle, you get a 10% discount. So this here is including hot foil with die cuts and a mask. And this is a 4-layer mask. So it's going to give you a whole bunch of ways that you can build butterflies, and they are so pretty. I'll show you some samples. Now we're working into this one. So this Sweetly Sentimental has a stamp set. And if you're looking at this going, I love the stamp set, but the hot foil system just isn't in my budget, or it's not my thing, you can buy the stamp sets individually. You don't have to have the hot foil system to just buy the stamp set. So these are exclusive to the system, but you can buy the stamp sets without having to buy the dies. So you'll notice that in this one, the stamps are meant to build with these sets. And this one here is fun because it has both the words. You can see the more dull one here is the hot foil die, and it has the cutting mat that is going to cut them out. And they've even designed it so that these little squares here, when you have it foiled, you know how to line it up so that it's going to cut it out. So as long as those squares are lined up, then you're going to be able to cut your paper and have those little words be lined up. Okay, so that is the Sweetly Sentimental. Then we have Flourish frames, and here you can see the stamps, again, are meant to complement, not match up. So we've got these beautiful images that are going to go with your foil dies and your cutting dies, which is pretty great. Here we have Botanical Glow hot foil. So just one hot foil here, and it's really beautiful with this gorgeous leaf stamp. Again, even if you weren't going to get the hot foil system, this stamp set is so pretty. This one is a good scene builder bundle. You can see shimmering scenes. So you can actually stamp and layer. You can see how it's meant to layer over top to create the scenes. And then in here, you've got the ability to add these little details that are foiled and die cut, and you can pop them up into the scene. And then the last one that I have is called Echoes of Detail. Really fun for, I think this would make great Halloween backgrounds. You've got stamps for creating outdoorsy things, and just even little sort of detailed parts of the card. And here you can see the foil. So this would all be done in metallics then. So our system is almost done. It takes about 6 minutes for the first go around. But let me bring out one of the dies, and this is the one that we're going to use on that. And I also wanted to share with you what the foil looks like. So currently we have 3 types of foil. They come in a box of 2. We have pink. So you can see it's that beautiful pink. It kind of works well with bubble bath, barely blush, that kind of color. Not a flirty flamingo color because it's more on the blue side than the orange side. It's like, this is Calypso Coral type color on my nails. It still works, but the more blue colors of pinks I think work better. We have gold. So you can see here the gold. And we have silver. Sharon's question is, if you have foil dies from another company, can you still use them with the Stampin' Up! Machine? I'm not sure how to answer that question because I've never played with that. I've only played with Stampin' Up! System. So I think you just have to try. So here you can see is the silver. Oh, it just beeped. Did you hear that? So that means that it is now ready to play with. So let's pull out our die. And I'm going to use this beautiful big one because it really shows off the foiling nicely. We're going to set it on top of our hot surface here. And you can see, like, I'm using my fingers to do that. Maybe wouldn't recommend. This is your metal piece that you can kind of maneuver things around. You just press the button when you want to release it. And now we're going to see how the button is blinking. We're going to press that button, and our yellow light now tells us that it's heating up the die. So that takes about 1.5 minutes. So I find it's helpful when you're working on things to have kind of multiple things on the go. So I just, now that it's heating, I'm going to do the cutting of my foil. So I'm going to bring in the gold, and I have two rolls here. I'm going to keep working with the one that I've opened. So there's this little dot on the edge, and I'm just going to, I keep saving it because it's nice and sticky, and I just kind of set it on the counter, and it helps to keep your rolls from unrolling. I tried a couple of ways of cutting the foil, and the best way to do it is with your paper cutter. So just open up the little bar, and the foil is 5 inches long. And so to work with a piece of cardstock that I've got for a card front, I'm going to do 3 3/4. So the nice thing is you can really measure it with your cutting blade. Here you can see I've got my cutting blade, and I'm just going to go along my foil, and it cuts it so beautifully. I feel like you get less waste that way because you can measure it and you're not working with jagged edges. So now I'm going to bring back that little circle, and I'm just going to stick that on the top like that, and that kind of holds it all together. So now we can set that aside. Okay, it just beeped. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but it beeped, which means that it is now ready to make our sandwich. So I'm going to bring in my gold foil, and we're going to flip it over so that the shiny side is down. So we're just going to go ahead and set that on top of our die. I'm going to bring in a piece of cardstock. You can really use any kind of cardstock. Stampin' Up! Is recommending 2-tone cardstock, but I've been playing with all of my cardstock and haven't had any trouble at all. You've got the Hot Foil Shim. Can you read that? I always think green means go, so that's the first one that goes down. And then you have the Hot Foil Spacer. This is going to create the wedge that you need to press it. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut Emboss Machine. Now there's been a lot of chatter about what you can use. The reality is this system is 6.5 inches wide, and so you need to have a die cutting machine that can do that. So the Stampin' Cut Emboss Machine has been designed to work with this system, and it is very common for companies to create their tools to work with their own systems. So now we'll bring that out, and you can see I'm picking it up. It's not hot on the white part of it. When we pull this off, I'm gonna plug this back in so we can play with it some more. When we pull this off, you're going to see the hot foil has been pressed. Now, there's instructions about when you roll it through the machine to do it slowly. I'm never patient, and I never remember to do that. I just roll it through how I normally roll it through, and I haven't had any trouble with it. But this is the beauty. Now we have the reveal. Oh my goodness. That is so pretty, right? So just such a stunning way to be able to create a backdrop. Now I'm going to point out, you'll notice that the gold matte, or the gold, I've got dots, I've got pink, I've got silver. The foil has transferred onto the mat. That is no problem. It does not transfer onto your paper. If you wanted, you could use a white eraser to get that off, but to me, this is a working tool. I don't need it to look clean. It's not going to interfere with my project, so that's fine. I'll show you a couple that I made with that. So here is one I did with a pink foil and black, and I just used one of our ephemera pieces and that new black ribbon, which is brand new on our online exclusives this month, just to create a little congratulations card. We were in graduation season, so very nice. And then another one, I experimented with our vellum. So this is the shimmer vellum. And guess what? It works on shimmer vellum too. So that's what I mean. Like if you have fibrous cardstock, like our regular Stampin' Up! Cardstock, two-tone cardstock, vellum. I haven't tried it yet with the velvet paper, but I want to. That's gonna happen. Then yeah, go ahead and just play around. It really can, you're not gonna get the same impression. It's not gonna be like that letterpress look the way it is on something like this. Like I can actually feel it pressed in, whereas this one, it sort of presses on top. But you're still gonna get that look. Okay, so now this has heated up. I'm going to set aside this die. So you'll see I'm just sliding it over, and now we're gonna start playing with something else. Okay, so what I started experimenting with was this. I wanted to see, speaking of papers, if we could do designer series paper. And so let me bring in one of our dies here. I'm just gonna bring in my set and grab it. We need this one. Okay, so we're gonna open Flourish and Frames, and I'm gonna set the green ones over here because I'm gonna literally be like, guys, where did I put my hot foil shims? Okay, so here we've got the two different amounts, and you can see there's a ton of foil and a ton of dies there. So I'm gonna bring in just this little foil die, and we're going to set that on top like so. And I am going to bring in my silver this time. So once again, I look for the one that has the little dot at the top, and we're gonna cut a little piece. So heat that up. It's heating while it's sitting there too. This is more a timer just so that you have it, you know that it's hot. I think if you were doing like I just was doing where you're talking and it's sitting there, it's gonna heat up, but like either way, it's gonna be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna just cut off about 1 3/4 pieces. And I found for scissors, the scissors that work the best are ones that are sharp. So if you have ribbon scissors you like to use, or if you have really sharp paper scissors, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this. then that's going to help you out a lot. Okay, so we'll save this for another project. All right, so now we're going to be building this project. And you can see here, I'm picking this up because this can be put away now, and it's warm, but it's not hot. It's not going to burn me. So that's really helpful. Okay, so I think because I didn't press the button right away, it's going to be hot. We're going to go ahead and put the shiny side down. Oh, see there, it beat. And now I'm just going to put this on like, I want it like this, so I'm going to do it like this. You can use the lines, the grids on there to help you line things up if you need something to be more exact. So remember, green means go. That's going to go down first. Oh, see, look at, we just picked that up because it's static. Green means go, and then Hot Foil System. Bringing in our Stampin Cut Emboss Machine, and now we're going to roll that through. So once we have that done, I can throw this back on. We'll plug it back in, get ready for our next project. And does it go on to, oh, see, I didn't line that up properly. That's okay. Yeah, it goes onto Designer Series paper. So we can cross that off our list. So let's go ahead and do another one that's really fun. And that is the, that alphabet set. So I'll bring in my alphabets, and we are going to foil onto some smoky slate. So again, we're going to be using the matte ones. This is going to go onto here. I'm going to just go ahead and move it so that it's straight. We're going to warm it up. I can throw this over here. I love that they heat up and cool down quickly. It makes it easy to use. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, I'm going to bring in some pieces over here. So you'll notice that I didn't foil that properly because I was being impatient, but that's okay. We're just gonna go ahead and use an embellishment. That's what they're for, right? Hiding mistakes. Oh yeah, and to make cards look pretty. But both of them work. So we're just gonna hide that little piece, and you don't even know now, right? Here's one of the words that I've done, and I did it with silver on black. And so while we're waiting for this to heat up, we're just gonna go ahead and add that on. I really like to use my foam adhesive strips for these little pieces because they're sized kind of perfectly for that. So I'm gonna bring in a little pair of scissors and just cut it to size. And now we're gonna stick that down. And what I wanna do is remember that this is gonna be stuck to the heart, and so we only want the foam piece on the end so that we don't get an uneven look. So this is gonna kind of build it up to the heart, and then we can throw a little bit of glue on here. Are you guys enjoying this foil system so far? So now this can go on like that. So pretty. Okay, our gray piece is going to be here. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. It's beeped. So let's go ahead and bring in my cutting thing so that we can get our silver cut. This is like the ultimate multitasker morning for me. I love that you're constantly working on different pieces of the project at the same time. Okay, so we want 3 3/4. So this just slides underneath, and then you keep the roll on the outside. So 3 3/4, like that. And we can just line it up to the edge and cut that. So now this can go on top like that. And now we'll throw our paper on top. You can kind of move things around a little bit. So we're going to do that. And now I'm going to bring in those two things. So we've got the hot foil and we've got the thing. I know, Deborah, right? Isn't it tempting? It's so beautiful. I didn't anticipate how much I was going to want to play with this all the time. Okay, this is going to be sandwiched into my Stampin' Cut Emboss Machine, and we're just going to give it a roll through. Pull out our sandwich. And one thing I'll tell you is that I have plugged it in and then like gone and worked on other things, and so I didn't come back to it. And it does have an auto shut off. So if you leave it unattended, it will shut off, which is great. We don't want to leave hot things going in our house. Okay, so another one of the reveals, right? Now you peel that off. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. And there you can see what the foil looks like. We're gonna talk about these pieces here in a minute. Okay, so now I wanted to point out this. Can you see at the very top? I don't know if you can make it out on the video. There is a tiny bit of the product has transferred onto this paper. So you can use your little white eraser and just take off foil if it's not meant to be in that spot. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do a little tear. And this is gonna create our, see it's nice and hot, so it keeps coming back up to heat now. This is gonna go on top, and let me just skip to the end where I'll show you a finished project with that. So here you go. This is my pool party card. Sharon, are you paying attention? So here I've incorporated in this suite, the Extraordinary Life dies. This was in our catalog that came out in May, and just put it into play with the foils. I love that it has that note card feel, and you've got the letters, right? You've got just this little bit of a cute, right, Sharon? You've got this little bit of a cute card. I love Here's to Another Year. This would be a great card for a teacher. So I did a little bit of black splatter. Can you see that in the background? Just to add a bit more detail to it. So pretty, right? And there's stamps from that, I forget the names of things. This one is called Flourish and Frames. So that stamp came from that. Okay, so that's project number 1. I want to show you a second project. I'm going to a 70th birthday party tomorrow, and so I wanted to make a card. It's a man. And so let me show you how I did that. So the first thing I wanted to show you is how can you use that foil? Because you're probably looking at it like me, where you're going, okay, but like there's still foil on there, right? How do I make the use of this? Well, first of all, you could layer this onto projects. You could make shaker cards out of it, depending on what you foiled out of it. But this is where we're gonna come back to these Swiss dot hot foil dies. These, I think, are kind of a must, even though it doesn't look like much. I think it's a must in order to make the most out of your foil. So we're gonna bring this guy in and we're gonna set it onto my surface, and we're gonna press the button to time it. And what I wanted to show you is that you can use this to add some polka dots to the background of a car. Hi, Jenny. Yeah, London, thank you for giving London a pat. If you don't know, London is my lab. She's turning 9 in a couple weeks. I can't believe it. And she's lovely. She was snoozing on my bed when I started this video. I went and gave her a little kiss before I came in here. Okay, so I want to create these dots in the background, and we're gonna see how we can make use of this die, or this foil. Let me see if I can find any other ones here. I'll show you a few of them here that I've reused. Just let me do the reveal first so you're impressed by me. Okay, so we're waiting for our little guy to do the beep, and then we can get going with that. I learned a trick that is fun that I will show you with the with the letters and the numbers, and we're going to work with that with this card too. Okay, so I think we're about ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and just lay this on top. So remember, your shiny side is going to go down. There it is. See, I knew it was going to speak to me. We've got our paper. So this is two-tone cardstock. So you can see it's got, the one side is a little bit more dark than the other. So we're going to lay that now on top. And then green means go. And we've got our shim, our spacer. So this gets unplugged, and then we're going to bring in the die cutting machine, and now we're going to roll that through. So let's see what happens. Are you excited? Okay, I'm going to plug it back in because we have more to do. Okay, so here we've got the one that's been used, and now our dot. So let's see what happens. So when you peel it off, do you see what I mean? Like, you've got all these dots coming through, and yeah, it's not perfect, but guess what? We're putting stuff on top of this, so you're not going to notice that it's not perfect. I feel like these dots are just what you need to be able to make the most out of your foil leftovers. Okay, so this is going to become our card front, and now I wanted to do something with the numbers. So we're going to bring in that number set. And so, yeah, I love how quickly it heats up. When you're an impatient crafter like me, that's always handy. Oh, I'm just messing with my light here. Okay, so this is going to go on top. Here's our numbers. We're going to lay that on top of there, and I'm going to give it some time to heat up. And we can put away our dots. So this time we need we want some gold to coordinate with our dots. So let me bring in my gold foil. So pretty. Pull that off. It does kind of give a distressed look, Jennifer. I like that too. I just really think, as crafters, we always like to make the most of our collection, right? We don't want anything to go to waste. And I just feel like you don't need to let the foil go to waste either. Okay, so for this, we need about that looks like here. I'll bring in a ruler. We need about a 3-inch piece. Maybe just shy of 3 inches. Okay, and now I can cut off about, I should really measure. This is, you're getting a look into how kamikaze I am with measuring. Okay, so about 3.5. Okay, so we can cut off this end piece because we're gonna save the foil that we don't need to use. Okay, so I heard it beep. That means it's ready to go. So we're gonna lay this on top, and then we're gonna bring this in, and we're gonna lay this on top. I see I got some ink on the other side. We're not gonna see that. Green means go. Shim, and now we can roll it through. Now, the cost of this machine in Canada is $2.19, so it is not a beginner machine. This is something you need to have some things in your collection, like the Stampin Cut Emboss Machine. However, remember that you get Stampin' Rewards on it. So Stampin' Rewards on $2.19, you're gonna get $21 in Stampin' Rewards. And then you can use that towards a free set of foil on your next order. Okay, here we go. We're gonna reveal. Love that. Okay, so here's what my tip is with using the letters and numbers. We're gonna flip it over. We're going to bring in foam adhesive sheets. Have you used these before? They are in our adhesive section. You're gonna cut off a chunk so that you can use this on the back of your letters here. So I'm gonna go, what what birthday should we do? I've already done my 70. Should we do a 40, 50? What do you think? Put it in the comments. So I'm going to do it this way. I can kind of see through the paper, so I can kind of line it up. Okay, there we go. So set this aside. So now I can bring in the die set, and we're going to lay this on top just like that. I personally like to use old washi tape. You can use masking tape just to hold my dies in place. Just means that if I'm not going to have things wiggling around when I don't want them to, because it would just be like that. You can use the outline of the border on these to kind of hold it in place. So we're going to set aside our foil stuff for now, and now we're going to go back to our traditional die cutting tools. So this is our platform system, right? So you've got your number 1 platform, your number 2 platform, you got your mangy old cutting mat. We're gonna lay those on top, and now we're gonna sandwich it with the other cutting mat. Now, as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, we automatically get 20% or more off on our products. So an ongoing discount of 20% is a pretty great way to be able to get your tools for a lovely little discount. And then, of course, we earn Stampin' Rewards on the retail price. So we're always getting the best deal as demonstrators. We just got a new starter kit offer. It's really similar in that it's still $135 in Canada, but you get a coupon instead for $170, and you get to use that coupon whenever you want. Okay, so here we've got the foam on the back. We've cut out these letters, and so let's bring in some pieces here to build a project. So I want to do a little stamping on my balloon first. So I'm going to bring in Golden Glow, and I've got some polka dots. This is from the Balloon Festoon bundle. So we're just creating the little dots on the balloon. And we're gonna add one right there on the bottom. Okay, and now we're going to bring in our polka dots that we did before. And so this is going to go on top like that. And we have here a little shimmer vellum balloon that we cut out. That's going to go on there. And we also have these little pieces that make it look like light is shining on our balloons. I think I can unplug this. And now we can bring in our numbers. So your pal is having a big birthday this summer. So why don't we do one in the era of my big birthday? Can you believe it? When I started as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I was very young. I was in my 20s. And yeah, here we go. Okay, so you can see we've got here's to another year, just like that. And you can see the little polka dots. You don't really notice that we've used another foil to build that, right? So let me show you the 70th birthday card I did. It's a little different design, but you can get the feel of it. And I just took the black thread and tied it around the base of the balloon. And I also did the dots the same way that I showed you how I did the dots. So a really nice way to be able to use up that extra foil. Do you guys want to see more samples? Okay, throw it in the comments. I'm like the person at the concert. Do you want one more song? Let me hear you scream. Okay, scream in the comments. Okay, so here we've got this beauty. So this is using the butterfly bundle. So this is such a magical bundle because it uses the foil, it uses coordinating dies, and it uses a mask that you can color the butterflies with. And there you can see the polka dots in the background. Jennifer's asking, it cuts out the numbers individually. Does it cut out the alphabet ones too? Oh, my friend, of course it does. Look at this. Look at that. she is beautiful. The next one I wanted to show you is this one. So again, same thing with the butterflies. This is a more simple one. Of course, I use Stylish Shapes because, you know, it's like my go-to die set. And then here you can see the butterflies in action with one of those little greetings there. And the butterflies from the In Colors, they coordinate so beautifully with that little set. So that's another nice add-on for embellishing. Thanks, Barb. Thanks for giving me the screams. And then here is that gorgeous leaf one. So the leaf is done in foil, and you can see the stamp in the background. I did it subtle because I did tone on tone. This is a great time to bring in your platform because you can line it up exactly how you want. But I will tell you, this is meant to complement the foil. It's not a two-step. So this is not meant to line up exactly on the foil. I think it looks better this way. I think it would get lost in the foil if you did it another way. And here you can see I've used ephemera to just add the greeting to it, but it's just such an elegant and pretty looking card. Yeah, so I'll also show you the foil that I've kind of made the most of. So here you can see I've had, it's a little easier to see on the non-shiny side. I've got the butterflies, but then I did the dots over top of it. And another one here. That one's a pretty easy one because there's a lot of leftover. Here is one that I did where I did the big label, but then I did the words inside of it. Because you can see there's all this leftover in the middle. So I might not use these words because they've got some stripes that are taken out of it. But these ones in the middle, they're all good to use. Same with this, right? Here's another one I did, one of those labels, and then I cut out the numbers from the middle of that. And I might not use the one or the two, but the rest of them, right? So I'm here to tell you that you can even use it 3 times. Oh my gosh, yes. So I did the leaf, that's what I did with this one. And then I did the dots, not once, but twice. Can you see that? I just did one and then I shifted it over a bit. I know, I'm not gonna say that I'm a frugal champion, but I kind of am winning at being frugal. So here you can see the projects we made today. So there's one and I've already lost, there we go. And here's the other one. And then you can see some of the other beauties. So I don't know, have I sold you on the hot foil system? It is divine. So this is definitely a treat yourself kind of tool. Maybe if you're a beginner crafter, thank you for finding your way here. This might not be first on your list and that's okay. There's lots of things that you can do that are equally as wow and beautiful. But for those of you who are avid crafters, and I know who you are, you're the ones who show up here every week. You're my people. Just know that, like, in all honesty, I love to craft. I craft almost every day. This has like fueled the fire for crafting in me where I just can't stop. Like I just want to craft all the time. I'll put the link in my comments for you to find my online store. If you live in Canada, I'd love to have your support. If you would like information on becoming a demonstrator so you can get the discounts on all the things, you could even have that discount applied to your hot foil system. This is a great way to go. And my friends, if you buy the hot foil system, you will be getting a free class from Stampin' Up! That is at the end of July. So this is a nice extra bonus that you can kind of learn more tricks and tips on how to do it. Okay, thanks for tuning in, friends. Have an amazing weekend. I hope you have some time to craft. Bye for now.